Right. Hello, 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 hello. How's everyone doing today? Who have we got in chat? Who have we got in chat? I see an Island Tinker, a Sunny D, a Mr. Hans, a Jormungand, of course. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Right. If you are in chat and you haven't made yourselves known, do so. You know, it's always nicer when people talk on stream. People don't deserve dogs. Yeah, I don't deserve Brisket. Brisket's the best. He puts up with me, hence why I was paying the treat tax before stream. I feel recognized. Hola, yo. Hey D, how you doing? Nikatan Nigan? Nigan? Hey guys, great to have you here, bud. If you're wondering why I'm looking down at the edge of my table, I'm testing out having another monitor just for chat. So I've got two monitors in front of me. One's got OBS, one's got whatever I'm working on, and the other's got chat down here. So it's more just so I'm not constantly peering straight ahead because my monitor's quite far away. So if you do see me look down every now and again, that's why. Hey Jake, doing all right. I said I wasn't going to peer down, and I've just done it. Doing all right. I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to be better once I get this build done. Someone mentioned Milo in the corner earlier. That's Miley down there, and I'm going to be transferring the X and Y axis from Miley onto my Milo fairly soon because I am sick and tired of having ball screws on my machine. Hey Zen, how you doing? Right, so plans for today. I am going to remove some parts from the Y-axis because it's going to be easier if I remove them. Then I'm going to put the triple FMJ Z-axis on. Ooh. I'm going to put this chunky boy on. And then we're going to put the last two plates on so that we can put the spindle on when it arrives. The spindle is arriving either today or tomorrow. Dave sent it over, so everyone say thank you, Dave. So he's sending a the VFD over, the spindle over, and a silo over. I think that's what he's sending. I've started preparing all the parts for the electronics build. So we've got all the parts for the electronics in here, including some extrusions, which are just over by the side. So once the mechanical build is done, we can start on the big electronics box, and then I'll attach everything up and we can give it a go. We might even be able to get some cutting done on it. Oh yeah, I remember it stalled the steppers a couple times last stream. Yeah, it was. It was fine when I brought it back down to my single flute feeds. When it was back down at the single flute feed rates, it wasn't stalling. But I want to be able to use 3 flute cutters, right? I like the fact that I can use 3 flute cutters on Milo because you get an incredible surface finish and you can just push it really quickly. And when you get to push it really quickly, jobs get done quicker. So I am going to be swapping out. The Z-axis is still going to stay ball screw. That's because the Z-axis is quick enough as it is. So don't need to worry about that. Anyway, without further ado, let's actually pretend to do something this stream, as always. And start taking stuff apart. What's everyone up to today? I'm going to tell you guys an interesting story. So, obviously, last 4 months, 3 or 4 months, I've been, well, let's not beat around the bush. I've been unemployed, right? So, thank you to the people who do support me a little bit. We're at about $250 US at the moment a month, and then I'm kind of going up on savings and selling some old machines and stuff like that as well. But I thought, okay, I can't just keep nitpicking jobs. So I went to a couple of interviews in the last few days. I went to a bar job, a bog standard bar job. And I thought, okay, this will just get me through the times where I'm not getting any big amounts of money in, blah, 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 so I can find some instructing stuff. The the job was just over minimum wage, kind of like £12.50, right? I look back at it and remind you, I don't pay a mortgage and I don't pay rent. My rent is 110 quid. If I go off of what I would have made there working 5 days a week, I would have 100 quid left at the end of the month. I would have 100 quid and that's it. It is rough out there. Not to mention the fact that when I went to the interview and actually did it, they asked for 5 years of bartending experience. I don't have that. I've got 2 years. Eating beef noodles, chilling, watching stream. Nice. Oh yeah, 3 flutes are amazing. Just did one side of HOI. Front mounts today. And it's such a good fish. Yes, 3 flutes are awesome. I've tried 4 flutes on aluminium, but it's just so gummy. Why are you eating the extrusion on Casa? He's got all chewy recently. So yeah, even like baseline jobs are impossible to get at the moment, from what I've seen. But anyways, is what it is. It is what it is. What do I need? I need brisket. Watch your head. I need some M5 inserts. I'll need some M5 screws. I can't remember what size M5 screws we used for the triple F&J stack. I'm just gonna have to guess at this point. I like roughing with 1 flute tools and finishing with 3 flute DLC tools. Ah, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you want to keep the finishing tools kind of for finishing only. That way they maintain their edge and maintain their usability for longer. But then again, you're going to have to replace, single flute tools more often. Because obviously you've only got one edge that can get dull. And once that one edge is gone, everything's gone. One country away from destroying the papacy and making Filkerite dominate. Nice. I'm lazy to change tools. I'm just roughing with 3 flutes and finishing with them. Brought a good couple of them. Yeah, I suck with that. I'm really bad with it because I will face using a 3mm tool if I have other parts that need a 3mm tool, other features that need a 3mm tool. And I go, oh, this will save me like 2 minutes in actual tool change time, but it's going to take the operation's going to be extended by like half an hour. And in my mind, that maths kind of works out somehow. I know it doesn't, but it kind of does. Right, it's going to be either M5 by 20 or M5 by 22. Not sure if you have a deco recruitment around your area, but you could do some temping work, and you get to choose your hours. Nice. Yep, and here in South Africa, it's cheaper ordering single flute tools off of Temu. Fair enough. Yeah, that's fair. It's the interaction with the mill time. What do you mean by that? By the way, if you're new here, this is a real bad problem I have. I'll say something and then completely forget that I was having that conversation with someone. So people will answer me because there's a bit of lag in stream, and obviously you have to type out your answer. And then I'll completely forget that was a question that I was trying to answer in the first place. I'm going to guess because I have less of these in the bag than the M5 by 25s that we used. These are M6 by 20. Why do I have M6 by 20? I didn't even know I had M6 by 20. Yeah, those are M6. Huh. Who knew? Right, I'm starting a timer. You decide what to use it for. It's 10 minutes. Nice. Yeah, I wish I had more stuff to give away. Unfortunately, we're out of the filament giveaways. And if ever we gave away a Micron, I would be definitely rigging that one to make myself win, because I want to build a Micron. I don't know what it is, but the Micron has just got into my head recently, and I just want a small machine. I don't need anything more than 180 millimeters cubed. I don't even need that cubed. I don't make tall parts. I don't get the obsession with tall printers, like Z height printers. Why? You're never ever using that Z height. I'm just following tradition with the timer. If it's going for an hour, then it's done with no tool changes. It's faster in your mind than having to go and make a tool change in the middle of things. Yeah, but I watch my machine. I don't trust a lot of machines, especially CNCs. Even big Tormacs, I don't trust walking away from the machine. I would rather stand next to the machine at all times, making sure that it is actually operating and doing what I want it to do, rather than hearing it crash later on. There have been times where it's been like an hour-long operation, I've gone to go grab a drink, but I don't tend to dilly-dally when I do stuff like that. I go and make my cup of tea, and then I come back. Oh, speaking of which, I could do with a cup of tea right now. If you just want a small machine, I go with the one. You see, this is the thing. I don't want a small machine. So I've got the two P1Ss. One of them is acting weird, and I can't go more than 50% speed with it. So, but it's still a machine that I still use. I've got the switch wire working decently well. I finally got the Trident working again after having to do a bunch of stuff with it. So, and then I've got a what's it, the Elegoo one, the Centauri Carbon coming. Centauri. I'm going to say Centauri. Or Centauri, because it's a centaur, isn't it? Yeah. So that stuff that's what I would actually use it for. I want a Micron because the Micron's fucking cool, and I want to build a Micron. If I just wanted a small printer, I would just go with a V0. How best to do this? Oh, that's gonna stick itself there, is it? Cool, I need a pokey thing. Give me a pokey thing. Pokey thing acquired. Also, how many people are actually on watching today? We've got 18 people, nice. Ever since I started not hiding behind my laptop when Milo is doing some work, I just play TFT on my PC 2 steps away from it, and the noise cancelling. I listen to books. Yeah, I listen to books. I set up simple ESP cam on my Milo, and I monitor it from the next room, though. But I have an enclosure. But I don't have an enclosure yet. That's fair, but then you don't get to do that when shit goes wrong. Like I have my earphones in. I tend to have, depending on what I'm doing, I'll have noise cancelling headphones over the top of my earphones. I'll just listen to books and watch it go. But I don't like, if I'm on the other side of the room, I feel uncomfortable running my machines. And if you want a cool printer, you should build a V0 inspired printer that prints peak, hot and cool at the same time. See, Micron. Like a Micron seems like the best compromise between small printer for ants and performance, because I could easily get some steel panels for that. And stick some steel panels on, and then insulate the fuck out of it. And it's not so big like the Trident. The Trident's only the 250. It's only a 250 size. but it is a pain and a half having to lift it off, put it on here, blah, 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 and work on it. So I don't like modding it that often. When I do mods, I do them all in one big go. I tend to accumulate a bunch of them that I want to do. When it comes to the Micron, I can easily see the Micron just going, boop, boop. Flip it over. Oh, I just need to tighten the screw. Okay, let's move it. And it's the right size to live on top of other printers as well. Yeah, I usually don't even go to the toilet when Milo's running. I just keep it in until it finishes. Don't trust my cam setup skills not to leave the room. I trust my setup skills. I think my opinion would change a little bit, will change a little bit when I put the lead screws back in. Because I know then that I won't need to worry about it skipping steps at the very least. There you go. Pokey things are great. Pokey things are great. Created cool. Welcome, dude. First time I've seen you here. I finished building my Milo. Can I shape any kind of aluminium? Talking about hardness. Yeah, harder alloys will mill cleaner generally. So you should be able to work 7075. 7075? Yeah, it's 7075. You should be able to work 7075. You should be able to work 6061. It gets bad when you're going to the really soft materials, believe it or not. So kind of like copper is the worst thing in the world to machine. And 5000 series and below aluminium is pretty bad. It's pretty hard to do. Cast aluminium, the stuff I use because I don't like having to face things. Cast aluminium is pretty soft in terms of like the different types of aluminium. So unless you need like a very flat face, I wouldn't actually use cast aluminium. I'd just face it. But yeah, you should be able to get away with pretty much any grade. Fantastic build series. Do I have any updates on the tool changer? Basically, you know as much as I do right now. The last update we got was the video of the turret that's posted on the channel now. It's a quick short. If you want to just skip over to that and have a quick watch of the tool changing turret, it's a minute-long video, and then you come back to stream. Feel free to. But other than that, nothing much yet. It's probably not going to be too bad. I know Bright said that he's going to try and do, because at the moment it's he ordered a milled plate for the bottom of it, but that milled plate doesn't fit on the build volume of Milo. So he's going to try a printed version of it to see if that will work. And remember, these are all prototypes, so it could be, they could change vastly at this point. They're still very early on. They're functional prototypes, don't get me wrong, but functional to one person doesn't necessarily mean functional and polished to the masses. But once he's kind of got the module down, I'm going to take that module, I'm going to modify it, and I'm going to do some stationary pieces, some stationary parts. So you won't get as many tools as in the turret version, but at least you'll be able to just have a quick, simple version that's really cheap. The only expenses will be the collets and the nuts, and then the fasteners will be cheap, the printed parts will be cheap. You could probably get away with having a 3 or 4 piece tool changer for less than $100. But the turret version is definitely going to be more expensive. There's just no way around that bit. I need one of those. Does everyone get me when I say one of those? I need a piece of filament or something. I can slide these T-nuts in. The CAD shows a 360mm 4080 beam for Z, and the BOM calls for 310. Yeah, most people were using FMJs, so it must have been changed at some stage. Because if you weren't here very early on, we didn't really have the tool shed, the kind of instructions part. I did that all by myself, and I just had a spreadsheet that I gave to people when I initially started. It was a spreadsheet and a more Voron style instructions manual. It was exactly that. It was a Voron style instruction manual. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I completely copied their style of manuals. Because at the time, they were the best. But then we moved away from that, and we updated everything, and stuff changed. To be honest, I couldn't really tell you all the stuff that has changed. Yeah, it's weird, because that was the best at the time, and now it's kind of considered the bare minimum. Like the Box Turtle CAD and manual is really good. It's really good. The stuff that Box Turtle does. I don't even know how they did it. Thanks, I need to source the 321s. Ooh, sorry about that, bud. Sorry. Yeah, occasionally that happens where people read the old sourcing guide. Hopefully you managed to get to it before you read the CAD. Sorry, you managed to buy... Sorry. So hopefully you managed to ask that question before you bought any extrusions, is what I was trying to say. Ugh. Why you no fit in hole? Giggity. What? Yes, brisket. Can I give some advice for printing? I'm printing now my parts from ABS and ASA on P1S, and I have some warping issues. I can try and give you some bits and pieces. Turn your fan down to 10% for a start, if it hasn't been already. The default profile for ABS on P1S is, I think it's 90 degrees C. Pop that up to 100 because the machine does go up to 100, so you might as well use it, give yourself the best chance. And print in a hot room, because we've talked about this before. Tiny small bedroom filled with a bunch of printers gets up to like 35 degrees in here. Actually, we'll check Alexa, what's the temperature right now? Alexa, shut up. Alexa, what's the workshop temperature? Yeah, so 27.5 degrees in here right now. And that's without any radiators on. That is purely just off of all the 3D printers that are in here. Yeah, my flat's really good at keeping the cold out. It's also really good at keeping the heat in. So it gets hot in here in summer. But also, we've had a really weird summer so far. For like this past week, we've been going into like low, just above zero, just above freezing in the evenings, but then going to, so it was 1 degree this morning when I woke up, but then it was 18 degrees in the evening. So we've had some massively weird temperature swings recently. Why aren't you going in? There we go. What are you barking at? You're just barking because it sounds cool. Damn, got 27 people in chat today. All right, welcome to those of you who haven't been to a stream before. I hope you guys enjoy what we do here. For those of you who have been watching me for a while and still haven't liked the stream, this is your final warning. I will come for you in the night if you don't know. I'm joking, I won't. But I might. Temperature swings, you mean April? Yeah, okay. I get it. But normally around here, the temperature swings haven't been this wide. Like the min and max temperature haven't been that wide. At max, they'll be like 10 degrees. But for some reason, tonight, this last week, they've been like nearly 20 degrees apart. And that's strange, even for the UK. Right, last insert on this side. Nice, nice, nice. Sweet. Oh, I realized do we need these anymore? No, we don't need these anymore. There's 2 inserts back here that we don't need. I've just remembered I haven't printed the rear box for this. That'll probably be something I do off stream because I want to finish this today. Well, finish the streams of it at least. We've had loads of sun. This is the weird thing. So we've had these massive temperature swings, but we've had loads of sun as well. Like, it's been sunny all week, which I'm pretty sure means I've died and the apocalypse has happened, or subsequently hell has frozen over. But I like to think positively sometimes. Sometimes, very rarely. Every now and again. And I'm hoping hell hasn't frozen over. But with my luck recently, who knows? All right. Clear skies holds the heat very poorly in the winter. It gets hot when the sun is out, but the heat dissipates very quickly once the sun is in. Yeah, that's fair. I did actually know that, but my brain no works sometime. I just think it's really atypical at this type of year, this time of year, especially around here. Right, so that is the Z-axis actually attached. Look at this chunky boy. Look at this chunky boy. Right. Oop. Black screen. I don't want a black screen. You gonna work on me? No? Why is my camera not working? There we go. Look at the chunk of this thing. Right. That's my thumb. It is the same thickness as the top part of my thumb. And there's steel in here. There's 2 aluminium plates and 1 steel plate. F. Sorry, D. My brain is stuck in error mode more than it works right now. Yeah, fair enough. That was mine. Raffers, how you doing, bud? How are you doing? Damn. What is this? I know what's happened. I know what's happened. I know why we have so many people here. I know why we have so many people here. It's because the twins aren't streaming, nor is Nero and what's his name? The twins being Daniel and Steve. I need to do more videos. I think I'm going to do a video this week. Is there any topic that anyone wants me to cover? And remember, it has to be V2 related. Nothing V1.5, please, because I don't have a V1.5. Not bad. Not too bad. Not too bad. A little disheartened. I had an interview earlier in the week. I've already told the rest of it, so I won't bring it up again. But it was a strange one. It was a strange one. Oh. What are you? Keep huffing and puffing at something, Brisket, but I don't know what it is. I haven't left the stove on or anything. I'll be right back. I'm just going to double check something. What are you barking at? No, nothing in the house to be barking at, but he's still barking. Come on, go lie down in bed. Come on, in your bed. Does it need to be Milo specific, or can it just be CNC learning in general? Yeah, it can be CNC learning in general, so long as I can do it. Jack Landry, when cutting with Milo V1.5, is there a chip load number per tooth I should be aiming for? Your minimum chip load, from my experience, should be around about 0.025. Anything below that number and you're starting to kind of risk getting gummy parts or gummy bits and pieces, or gumming up your tools, is what I'm meant to be saying. Anything above that is fine. So remember, chip load is a minimum goal. It's not a maximum goal. Should never be viewed as a maximum. It is a good indicator on how hard you're running your tools, though. Typically, with single flutes, I can go up to 0.04, and you can probably go a bit higher than that with 3 flutes. The only reason you go higher than that with 3 flutes isn't because of the actual flute geometry or anything like that. It has simply got to do with the rigidity of the tool. When you've got more flutes, the core in the tool itself becomes thicker, and therefore you have a more rigid tool. So the tool rigidity goes up quite significantly. And it's because of the tool rigidity that you're getting the extra performance. Etc, etc, etc. It would be interesting to learn more about different types of end mills and their uses, also just fusion cutting operations and their uses in general. The thing is, I could do that, but I would do it worse than Saunders Machine Works does it. If you were here last stream and you saw all the errors I made on tooling and setting up fusion, I think it's definitely something we can do. But Phil's channel, Phil Stratman, he's a team member, obviously. He does a really good tutorial on making a plate, and that's kind of more what I would suggest leaning into, learning, not the specific operation by operation, but more things like how to approach every different part, a specific part. That's more useful in my mind than learning every single operation off by heart. CNC is all about being creative. Tramming in the machines would be a really good video, making a lengthy one though. Again, tramming on V1.6 versus V2 versus V1.5, they're all slightly different. So tramming is one of those things I could do, but it would be for later machines. I can only do videos with machines that I have on hand. I want to get a couple videos out with V1.6 before it goes, sorry, because I'm not keeping this machine. This is going up for as a prize once it's done. Cool. All right, let's do some spinny spins. Some spinny spins. Let's get myself prepared. I'm gonna need some M3s. So let me get some M3s. Some M3. Yeah, Phil Stratman and NYCCNC are your best bets for learning CAM. At least I think so. Right, I did do a test assembly, so I'm gonna have to take it all apart first. I'll put that over there. I forget I have this sometimes, and I can actually do things quickly. Where's Jose? Jose's never missed a stream before. He's probably with his kids or something. NYCNC is great for learning. Yes, it is. I'll tell you who's actually really good as your first CNC video is this old Tony. This old Tony, his kind of introduction to CNC as a general thing is really good. I suggest everyone watch it at least once, even if you know the basics of CNC. It's always good to refresh basics every now and then. Talking about kids reminds me of something. Oh God, please finish that sentence. Please finish that sentence, Jormungand. You can't just leave a sentence like that. So this is the plate we made last stream, by the way. I just finished milling the details on the backup off stream because it was a long stream. Just had to tell the kids to get to bed. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. He's always got his hands full. that joke only lands if you actually watch this old Tony. I'm going to need some M3x40s. That's my M5s. Why am I reaching for my M5s? He's reaching for his M5. So 3x50. Oh, please tell me I have M3x40s. I have. M3x40s are one of those screws that I constantly stock up on, and then I never seem to have enough anymore. Do-by-30s. No, we don't want them do-by-30s. Where have I put them? God damn it. M3x10s, we'll definitely need a load of those. M340. Got to hand it to him though, he does make good content. Yes, he does. I love how like the DIY and CNC sector has got big enough and popular enough for people that there are literally video critiques on this old Tony as a content creator. You know, the kind of like retrospective style videos? Well, those exist for this old Tony's stuff. Like, people were so impressed by him that they have retrospectives and critiques of his work. It's so bizarre. Right, I'm going to make my life a little bit easier. I'm going to cheat with a little bit of super glue. For sure, was also very amused by him going over the Handmer. Handmer? It's been a while since I actually watched a TLT video. The issue I have with YouTube in general at the moment has nothing to do with this or Tony or anything like that. It's the fact that I can't concentrate. I need to have, because ADHD, I need to have a video on when I work. So whenever I'm doing CAD work, I've got a video playing, but it can't be a video that I actually want to indulge myself with. It has to be a video that's kind of like gameplay or something that can just mindlessly forget is in the background, but at least give me some noise. If you're wondering, I'm just gluing this pin in so it's not moving all over the place. It doesn't actually need to be glued in. So yeah, so this old Tony stuff is content that I want to sit down with and actually watch through it all. But I don't get the chance to do that very often because I'm always doing CAD stuff and I have to concentrate on the CAD stuff. I do like 6 to 7 hours of CAD a day. YouTube has replaced the shop ready. Yeah, that's the thing. If anyone knows the content creator Soviet Womble, he's your average kind of video game streamer, but your run-of-the-mill version of that. But he says a lot on his streams that streams are just radio for young people. It's just radio for young people. It doesn't necessarily need to be young, but it's radio for the new generation of consumers. And I completely agree, because what else are you going to listen to? You're going to listen to actual radio stations nowadays? No one listens to the radio unless you're in the car. It's shit. It's all variety stuff, or some twat talking about something that you have absolutely no care in the world for. I put this in backwards. It's nothing. None of it's important. None of it has actual meaning anymore. It's just there to satisfy not having to sit in traffic without some kind of noise on. Like, I can't remember the last time I actually listened to what was on the radio. I listen to books in the car. I do the same. I ride a motorcycle, don't drive a car, but I will have my earpiece in and I'll be listening to books. A lot of that time, those books are fantasy, because that's just the genre that I enjoy. Play a lot of D&D and do a lot of fantasy stuff. So there's that. But yeah, it's either I have a stream on in the background or a video on the background, or I have a book on. Most of the time it's the book, to be fair, but still. Even in the car, I've stopped listening to radio. Too much stuff to get angry over. Either listening to people talk or constantly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because news is based off of how many people listen to it and listen to the ads in between the news, they need to be able to draw people's attention. And the only thing you can draw people's attention with nowadays is people getting angry at each other, because drama is money. So you either sit there and get angry over nothing, over something that you can't change, or you listen to YouTube and content that actually makes you happy, or teaches you something. So I would much rather spend my 20 minutes a day that I have free or whatever, if I was working a business, a job in an office or something. I'd much rather spend that learning how to do something than just listening to the same boring old people day in and day out, doing the same thing day in and day out. People who I have no relation to as well, like. I guess it works. I don't know. Alright. I'm going to assume these Z-axis rails are good, because these haven't changed since I took them off of my V1.5. In terms of they've stayed on this extrusion this whole time, and they were working when they were on the V1.5. I'll test them when I actually put the motor on. The motor's going to have to come off of my Miley V2 when I do the swap over, because I don't have a spare motor with the same connectors. But if I take it off of that Milo currently, I'll be able to stick it on here. But I'll do that off stream. I'll see if I can run the drill just so I can make sure that it's actually working. So yeah, so there's a tramming video. I do have a little tramming assistant actually. So where the two, it's going to be a bit hard to install with the big chunky FMJs in the way, with the triple stacks in the way. But where the little cutouts are for the for the aids that help you do the perpendicularity. I'm gonna print off some parts that come around the corner and have 2 screws facing into the actual tram plate. So you can tighten one side or loosen one side off, or tighten the other side and loosen this side off, so that you can get the tram about the x-axis in nice, fine controlled. Because I noticed that doing the tram for that a couple weeks ago, that whilst it's fine to do, it would be really nice to not have to slightly tap everything into tram, rather just use a screw instead, and then you can remove them afterwards once you've set the tram. Actually, I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Actually, I have the power to do this now. I can actually bring Fusion up on stream sometimes when it wants to cooperate with me. Oh no! Tighten. Sweet. Okay, so this is the main plate. If you haven't seen this yet, there are 2 plates on V1.6 and V2 for the Z-axis. This is the main plate that goes to all the carriages and attaches all the motion parts in place. And then this one is your actual spindle mount plate. So you'll stick that on top. The top piece, the top left corner, is for a shoulder bolt, and the other 3 are for just normal bolts. And you leave the shoulder bolt tightened-ish, and then you can tram around that point. It's only about 2 degrees of tram, 2 degrees like actual radial degrees, rather than 2 degrees of being like 2 degrees of freedom. But 2 degrees should be enough if your extrusions are cut decently. Cool, so we'll actually install it now. Ooh, not that one, that one. Why does this camera keep turning off? I think it's because I've got so many USB devices in. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find another USB power source for that, because otherwise I don't have enough power from my computer. I've got so many different USB devices in. I've got that camera, that camera, that camera, that camera. So I've got 4 cameras. Yeah, 4 cameras in. I've got a wireless Bluetooth one. I've got the USB devices for 2.4 gigahertz for my mouse and for my laptop. Well, not my laptop, my keyboard. Yeah, I need more USB stuff. I've got a USB port for my microphone receiver that I'm using up. I've got one for got some other stuff. I've definitely got more than that. Yeah. Oh, one for a little fan that I've got. One for my my Stream Deck. One is now going to my little chat screen over here. So, yeah, I need more. I need more. But I'll show you these on this camera. So that's a shoulder bolt there. That's my little shoulder bolt. So that is what's going to actually provide the pivot. So that needs to go in this side. It doesn't actually matter. I'm just doing this for whichever side looks the best. Right, so we've got tram, we've got a little bit of cam. Any other videos that people want to see? Does anyone have a project that they want to see? Someone suggested a keyboard. And I might just do that. A keyboard sounds like a good project to do. Climbing holds, maybe, or some climbing gear. That was in my mind. Something to do, potentially. So, I'll loosen this part off a little bit. Ooh. Something is weird. Have I got this the wrong way around? I think there is a slight difference, but someone said printer parts. What printer parts do you want? Because it's either got to fit on a Trident or a switch wire. Unless I got a Micron. If someone ever wants to sponsor me a Micron. So should we donate to Micron? Yes, donate me a Micron. No, if you want to, go ahead. I would love to do a Micron, and a whole load of CNC mods on it. But I'm not going to force anyone to do that. That's a lot of money. They're like $600 or $700. I don't think anyone in the UK actually sells a kit yet. Not that I've seen, at least. It can include 3D printing, but it needs to include some element of milling. Otherwise, because the thing is, I want this channel to still be the Millennium channel. Right? I don't want to go off and be another Nero, because we don't need another Nero. We've got one. So I would still, and it gives me the opportunity to go, oh, this is the type of stuff that you can do with a CNC. So it has to include some element of CNC. There we go. Perfect. So yeah. So there's a tiny bit of movement. Hopefully you guys can see that right there. It's not much, but it doesn't need to be that much, because this is more like a finalized. This is if you've cut everything square. This is if you've been assembled it all properly. If you need more than this tram, something else has gone wrong during your build to make you need more than that. And you're better off going back and fixing those things than continuing on. So yeah, there's about 2 degrees there of wobble. I'm just going to tighten it up for now, and I'll let whoever's getting this machine do the tram, because if I do the tram now, what will end up happening is when it's being shipped or when it's been picked up or something like that, it'll inevitably get jostled, and you'll have to do the tram all over again anyway. I also just haven't printed the tram tools. So we might do that on another stream when we're doing the electronics box, or when we're putting it all together finally. Electronics and mechanical. I need the back piece. Flow wall. Develop a metal tool head for Trident. Yeah, I could do that. Could do that. I gotta brush up my extruder kind of design stuff. I'm not very good at designing stuff for 3D printing, for 3D printers, because I'm working on a printer at the moment. I've come to realize everything else, the motion system stuff's fine. The motion system just fine. When it comes to like 3D printing tool heads or hot ends, just something just doesn't flow with me. Something just sticks. But that's how you learn. You push past that kind of stuff. And those already exist. Yeah. Oh. Right. So this is the half plate version of the tool mount, the spindle holder. So on the full plate version, there's two of these HOIs. There's one there and there's one around about here. But because we're doing the half plate on this one, because it's all I have, there's only that one. Hey Cobra, how you doing? Damn, I made 2 in a row. I'm on a roll. Yes, you are. We might even be able to call you a regular if you came 3 times in a row. God. You might have to take your Mangan's job. This is Jorgengan going, no! I'm the one who does the timers in this house. In this house? Why did I say in this house? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Sweet. So I need to put I need to source a motor to put on here. Because I don't have one on hand. But like I said, it's going to be from one of these 2 machines, so that's fine. I just need to wait until I've taken those apart. I'm not going to do that right now. Exactly, I'm the one who does the random timers. Very good, very good. Awesome. So... oh, we have one more job that we need to do before I can call this done, stream done. I need to add some magnets. Now, obviously, for the most part, for most people, this is the point in time where you start doing all the finishing touches and things. You start doing, you start making sure the machine is tram and all that stuff. I'm not going to do that unless we do any milling on it. We'll probably do that milling later on down the line anyway. So can I do this as a trick? Is this going to be able to, is this going to work? I want to see a I would too. I would too. Even though it is a project I think it would be fun to do. Again, the issue is money. I know we talk about this all the time and it comes back to it, but every month, even since people started donating more, since we started getting more direct funding for the project from the community, even then, I've still had to dip into my own funds. There hasn't been a month yet since we started doing these streams where I still haven't dipped into my own funds to be able to fund all of this. But if you are curious in how you can contribute to the project and you do want to help us out, there is some donations links down in the description below and also on the donate to a developer page on the Discord. There is a PayPal and there is a Patreon link. All that money does help so much. Honestly, it does. We're almost entirely funded by the community at this point in time. Obviously, once we get more money when we do more releases and stuff like that, but we haven't had a release in over a year, so yeah. It also helps to feed brisket. It helps to feed brisket. You don't want brisket to go hungry, do you? What am I looking for? I'm just looking for a screwdriver. I'm in one of those moods where I'm just all over the place. I need one of my screwdrivers. There it is. Can't let brisket go hungry. Yeah, he's a growing lad. He's grown 23 kilos since I got him. He started off at 13 kilos. He is now 30 kilos. I've had him for 3 months. He's a fat boy. Thomas, feed brisket or he'll eat the router again. And then, yeah, that's it. He'll eat the router again. And then we won't have any more streams. Okay. Yeah, so the Z-axis is still good for the rails. You mentioned last stream someone working on an ATC for Milo. Is there someone we can see progress? Yeah, I post videos of it. Basically anytime someone sends something to the Discord, like the design team Discord, I post it up as a video. So just follow the channel and you'll get updates through that. Follow the streams and you can ask me directly. Show up to streams, just ask me. We did talk about the ATC earlier in stream. Basically, it's a working prototype at the moment, but going from working prototype to working release is a totally different beast than people expect. Oh, what's happened? Why have I gone backwards? I don't want to go backwards. There we go. Yeah, so getting something ready for release takes the majority of the time. Doing the actual prototyping doesn't take very much time at all. Right, I need magnets. I need big chunky magnets. And I need tree. I always develop stuff with the mindset that I'm going to throw out the first success. Yeah, exactly. So all that stuff that Bright's done, for example, is just proof of concept stuff. So, hey up, Dave's here. Everyone say hi, Dave, and say thank you, Dave, from earlier in the stream, because he's providing a VFD and stuff. Finally got around to subscribing on Patreon. Thank you, everything. No worries, dude. And thank you for subscribing. It really does make a difference. Honestly, it does. Yeah. I'm still kind of going for one day, hoping that one day I'll be able to fund all of this and do it as my job. We're not there yet, but I'm really hoping we're going to get there. If you just look at streams, in the 3 months I've been streaming, I've gone from like 5 or 6 people watching me to having, how many people do we have? We had a maximum of 33 people on the stream. We've got 29 right now, right? I see that as progress. I see that as progress. So one day we will get to the point where I can fund the whole show. Oh, yeah, fund the entire show and myself from the live streams and the videos that we do. And I would love that. I would really love that. My mood goes up whenever we stream. I have to think about life in all the shitty details every other time except for stream. And that is honestly something that a lot of people don't have at the moment. So I'm glad for it, and I have the best community in the world because of it. All right. I'm gonna give that 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes. I'm gonna give that like 2 minutes to dry. I also need to put a magnet in here. Let's forget that about that magnet. Ooh. Oh, I had a perfect amount of magnets left. There we go. Yeah, it would be awesome. It would be awesome. Right. So, that, after this is done, we can test the y-axis covers. Just a heads up, these do have a break-in period. They don't work too great for the first, like, hour or two, and then they work perfectly after that. They have, like, a little break-in period that you have to go through. A thingy of just making it a macro that you do at the beginning when you install the machine, and that macro just runs the y-axis back and forth for like 50 times. I'm not actually sure whether or not, because this is glass-filled ABS, it's going to work better or worse. They feel more smooth, but that can be a bad thing as well. All right. Sweet. Let's run the y-axis back and forth now. I just need to find the lid for this. And obviously, I've got cyanoacrylate all over my fingers. Hell yeah! They would be easy to bend out of sheet metal. Seems like they would be cheap to have made. The issue with the sheet metal ones is sheet metal ones take up more space. So the sheet metal ones have a little tab that comes up and some little leather straps that keep the whole thing together. The printed ones just have little bits on the side, some little cutouts on the side, and there's a little knob on the inside that gets printed. So if you're happy with that, and we're doing it that way, you're better off getting them laser cut with the cutouts and then maybe gluing or riveting a piece on the inside to act as that little nubbin. It could work. It could definitely work. Perfect. So, obviously, other than the Z motor, which I said I'm going to fix, this is now a working machine in terms of all the mechanical bits. This is the first physical V1.6 in existence. First physical V1.6 in existence. Now, we've still got a little bit to go. There's still wiring that needs to be done. But we're going to do that in some future streams, or we can start work on it this stream, because we're only, what, an hour and 20 minutes in? An hour 17? So we can start work on the electronics box. If we want to see the electronics box started this stream, say yes in chat. Say yes in chat. Why not? Is V1.6/V2 using the same length feed screws as V1.5? V1.6 does, V2 doesn't. V1.6 you can build with V1.5 parts, V2 you can't. Yes, okay, cool. Cool. We've had 2 yeses so far. Any nays? I want to see it and I have to get to bed soon. Oh, you can always catch up on stream. Don't worry, I don't think we'll do too much. We'll just probably do the frame. Flow wall, yeah. We'll probably just do the frame tonight. You won't miss much. If you put together the frame on a V2.4 or a Trident, it's going to be the same kind of thing. Just a bunch of blind joints. Jose Ferreira. Oh, Jose Ferreira's here. Why do I always look... Whenever Jose Ferreira comes up in other streams, I don't know why, but my mind just goes... Just piques that name as interest. I don't know why. Are you associated with anything, Jose? I know there's Jose from LDO, but for some reason your name just piques something in my mind. Anyways, we'll get this on the floor. Get Brisket's bed out the way, considering he's now asleep on the floor behind my desk. He's a trip hazard right now. Oi! Oh! Hey, Brisky. Right, let's put this on the floor. This is gonna be fucking heavy, isn't it? This is gonna be fucking heavy. Ugh. Holy shit, this is heavier than I thought it was gonna be. Ugh. Motherfucker. That's a good, like, 40 kilos. That's a good, like, 40, 50 kilos of machine. All right, I'm going to be a little bit cheeky, and I'm going to use black oxide, the last of my black oxide screws for the frame, because they're all blind joints, you won't see them anyway. And I don't use black oxide screws anywhere because they look shit, they rust. So I'm going to use them on the blind joints of this, so that they're not part of my stock anymore. If that makes any sense at all. Very heavy. What I should do is I should actually get my scales and measure what the weight is. The Joker color scheme on 1.6 is pretty cool. Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. We went from one Joker build on the V1.5 that we did to another Joker build. So I think it's fitting. I wonder if anyone, other than Dave, who's obviously been here since the start, did anyone ever watch the really early on streams that I did, the really crappy ones, where it was in this corner with the camera facing down? Because we've come a long way since then, I think. At least I think. Bill Brothers saw them. Nice. Yeah, Bill, I think you and I can both agree that they were pretty crap back in the day. And be honest here. It's always shit when you start. I've been on enough. I don't even think we still have those videos on the channel anymore. I think I got rid of them. Like all those early streams, I think I got rid of them. This one, that's for my M3s. There we go, that's the one I wanted. I never speak ill of someone. That's basically saying, yes, yes, they were. I think even in this series, even in the, what, we're at 8 parts now? I've added, that camera was always there. I've added the desk camera, I've added that camera, I've added the stream deck, I've added the mini monitor. What else did I add? There's been loads of stuff that I've added. I've changed the whole room around. Yeah, there's loads of stuff. Changed. Let's just say I have learned on the journey. Yeah. Yeah. You could say that. I still need to learn how to actually like shoot a nice video, because the videos of me standing behind the desk and explaining things are nice, but I need to learn how to get good B-roll shots and do all that kind of thing, because everybody loves B-roll. So it's half term here at the moment. Jormungand, is it half term in... Do you guys get a half term in the US? Do people in the US know what half term is? How big are you planning the electronics box? Well, give it maybe half an hour and you'll be able to see. It's not going to be as small as the CR10's electronics boxes. There's too much to fit. Because if you think we're taking the entirety of what goes in CASA, in the electronics box, and how big that is, and we're trying to shrink it down. Think more a small mid-tower case for a PC. That's more along the lines of what we're doing. Half term, question mark. Yeah, half term is like the middle of term holiday that everyone gets in the UK. So you say your full term of school, your first term of school is 3 months. Around a month and a half, you get like a week off or 2 weeks off. Well, the kids do at least. The parents still need to suffer, as parents always do. Spring break, kinda, but it's not just in spring. It's every term. I live in Denmark. We have small holidays all over the place. That's true. That's why the Scandi countries are always some of like the happiest countries in the world. So you guys just, you do fuck all. You just don't do anything. In the best way ever, like not knocking it. I'm saying that's just fucking the truth, isn't it? We have Thanksgiving break in fall, and yeah, so we get 3 half terms because we have 3 terms in a year. Every time I learn something new about another country, I learn to love Denmark a bit more. Yeah. Are they taking visa applications, job applications to move there? Yeah, the UK is going to hell in a handbasket right now. I think most countries are. Yeah, we have all summer off in the US. Yeah, same with the UK. So what is... Oh, you don't have terms. What do you have in the US? I forget what it's called. It's like your year, a term is the school year's been split in 3 semesters. That's it. So every semester in the UK, you get like a week or 2's holiday in the very middle, like a midterm break, I suppose you might call it, or something like that. So, to whoever was asking before, that's one of the side panels for the electronics box. And then take that again, plus one of these. And that barely fits as much as we need it. This is physically the smallest we could get it, and it still be workable on the inside of it. But this is more kind of designed to be put on the floor, or you can bolt it to a wall. You can do whatever you want with it. Like an H510. Yes, actually, that is a perfect, slightly smaller than an H510. That is like the perfect metric. You'll use anything except the damn metric system. Right, I need 2 more and 5x10s. Different schools, different schedules, yeah. Just seems like the US doesn't have, and like people in the UK complain about not having enough holidays. But then I talk to my US friends and people who I just know who live over there and look at shorts that I see about it. So that you guys have fucking nothing. You've got nothing in terms of holidays. All you do is work. You don't get paid sick leave in a lot of places, unless it specifically says in your contract. Whereas in the UK, you have at the very least get statutory sick pay. It's like £4 an hour per day. But that's like a governmental pay that you get. Like, you have to be able to have that. Yeah, I get 3 paid holidays a year. By 3 paid holidays, do you mean 3 paid weeks, 3 days? Because we get the minimum in the UK is 28 days. And then every job will have a different amount varying on you can get more sometimes. You'll never get less than that. A lot of times, days. Fucking hell, that is awful. There are no required paid holidays. You are the only country in the world, from what I've read up about it. You're one of the only countries in the world that doesn't have paid holidays. And tell me again, who's the first world leading country? In DK, we bitch if we don't get the extra 5 days we're not entitled to on top of the 25 days we are. I get a federal holidays off paid and 18 days of PTO a year, but when I was a bartender for a decade, the only 2 days I was guaranteed off were Thanksgiving and Christmas, unpaid, no PTO, no benefits. God almighty. I feel so bad for Americans sometimes. Not even like on a political level. Like there's all that's going on, and I won't get into it in stream, but just on like a basic rights level, you guys have nothing. Comparatively nothing. Can you request holidays off though? We get 20, yeah, it's 28 days minimum here in the UK. I'm on permanent holiday pensioner, even though we don't get a pension. Huh? How does that work? Do you guys really not get pension in the US? Is there no pension scheme like national pension scheme? No guaranteed time off when you have a kid as a dad. Yeah, that's the same as the UK. That bit is the same as the UK. Very few. Closest is Social Security. Okay, so I'm guessing Social Security is what, like, it's an amount that comes out your paycheck every month that goes towards giving you payments when you're older, giving you some money to spend when you're older. Basically, you get like $900, like $1,000 a month or something like that, or less, or more. I don't know. I don't know what the numbers would be. We get guaranteed time off as work in the UK. Do we? I didn't know that. Is it unpaid time off though? Everybody qualifies to pay in. Oh, it is paid time off. Okay. Damn. In DK, we have private social security, sort of, that everyone's entitled to if they pay towards it. It's been logged down by the government rules, but still not entirely useless. Yeah, that's what we call a pension here. So you pay a certain amount. You pay a certain amount every month into your pension, and then that's effectively a tax that you also pay, because that money is technically allowed to be used by the government. It effectively goes into like a banking scheme type thing, where the government can use it to do stuff with, but you're entitled to that money back when you're above the age of like 60. Is it 65 or 70 now? Something like that. Then we have pensions, both government pension and mandatory private. Oh, okay, that's a good idea. Assuming whatever party running the country doesn't raid the funds, we also get some rich money. Not sure, but I swear, there's a great comedian where he's talking about the retirement age and how the retirement age has gone up and up and up and up, and he has a whole graph about it on stage with him, and eventually when you get to like 2050, you die at the average age of a man, you die, and then you still have to work 5 more years after that before you can retire. If that's the projected graph for retirement age. Awesome. So this is roughly the size of the electronics box. We cannot get this smaller. We've tried and we've tried and we've tried. Without making it thicker, you can't make it smaller. And then if you make it thicker, you have to balance different levels on top of each other, and it becomes impossible to work in. This is still small enough, still big enough that I can work in quite comfortably, but small enough that it's not going to take up too much space. I'll even put it up against the V1.6. And the idea is this is going to be a remote box. So the remote box gets attached to wherever you want to do it. You can put it on a French cleat, you can put it on the floor, you can put it underneath the machine, you can put it in a cabinet, whatever you want to do with it. This is going to have your e-stop on it. It's going to have all your communication stuff on it. It's going to have all the leads that go from the machine go back to it. So you might have 2 or 3 meters of cable that you need to run. Obviously, you can cut those down and they'll come back to this box. The idea of this box here is to make it as simple as possible, but have loads of space for you to mod it as much as you want. So the base version is literally just going to have cutouts and potentially even some grommets that go through it so that you can run the cables. There's plenty of space if you want to do aviation connectors, if you want to do any other specific connectors that you want to throw those out the back, to model them up for yourself and use those instead. But just to keep costs down as much as possible, because obviously we don't want to add stuff that isn't necessary that's going to bump the price up, we're just going to have a cutout at the back of it. Choose how you want to do it at the end when you build your machine, obviously. No need to go to the gym if you have Milo. Just make sure you don't have a permanent place to put it. Yeah, I don't have a permanent place to put it. I've got 1, 2, 3 different mills on the floor. One of them is going to be half a mil in a few days when I actually conjoin these two. Can you give me an explanation what kind of lube should use on rail and what kind I should go on the thread? Are they the same? They can be the same. They can be the same. A good lithium grease will be fine. What is it, EB2 or ER2 that people recommend all the time, the super lube stuff? I just use a white lithium grease, basically whatever you can get. Just make sure it's greased. Whatever grease that you can find is better than no grease at all. I wouldn't use oil because the oil will wick off really quickly. Oils are good for machines, but only on machines where you're constantly pumping oil through them. So something like a one-shot oiler where whenever you're using the machine, you'll pump it and you go. You're not doing that with Milo. A lot of people will be leaving Milo alone for a good few days or hours or weeks before they use it. So a grease is better in that regard. Needs a big touchscreen mounted to it. So here's the fun thing. The electronics bay uses the same front panels as Casa. So that's the front panel on Casa. That just attaches the same way. And the idea is that if you did want to go from this to Casa, you could take a load of the printed parts off, a load of the internal printed parts, and just stick them in there. It also means that we have to maintain less parts, so it's always better when we have to maintain less parts overall. So the mount that I have for the touchscreen here, that's compatible with that. You can have a Pad 5. There are also little connectors that you can put on. So these are keystone jacks. So you can put a front panel USB, a front panel HDMI. There's 2 at the back as well, so you can have, you can access the control board. You can access a Raspberry Pi if you want to put in there, because there is enough space for the Raspberry Pi if you want it to run everything. So you could literally have this sat on a shelf somewhere, connect your monitor in, connect your USB peripherals in, and off you go. You can use it as it is. Maybe have a touchscreen monitor, something like that. Yeah. So whatever you want, however you want to set it up for yourself, you can do it. It's possible because you can get Keystone HDMI, you can get Keystone Ethernet, you can get Keystone USB. In fact, I'm going to be putting at least 2 Keystone USBs on here and potentially a Raspberry Pi because I just have a lot of Raspberry Pis and I don't really need them. So I might be giving away a Raspberry Pi with this as well. The more I use my Milo, the happier I am that I built a Casa while building my Milo. I'm lucky I have a space for it, to have the space for it. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people don't. I don't think my Milo electronics would fit in that space. It would be tight. So this just fits a Huanyang VFD if the little button panel has been taken off. It will fit the SL3. The SL3 or the SL1? The one that comes with the LDO kit. It'll fit that fine. It will fit a 48 volt supply. It'll fit a the two AC clusters of connectors, the one DC cluster, a 24-volt supply, the VFD Siler, and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, if you're running the Mesa cards, because the Mesa cards take up a lot of space, don't they? There's like 3 different cards you need to have to get to see a 3-axis mill running. At least as far as I've seen. Oh, and it's a different connector. It's a different cable than you guys are used to. So we normally run C13 inlets and cables. Those are the ones that you would use on a 3D printer, on V1.6, on this, that, and the next thing. But because we have a lot of people who run 110 volt, we decided to up the connector rating so that people can use 2.2 kilowatt spindles if they wanted to. So these are C20 connectors. They take up to 20 amps. They can take up to 20 amps. So yeah, I don't quite know where to go from here because I didn't plan for the rest of this build. So I've built the frame. The thing is, the DIN rails, I haven't cut them to length yet. So I might need to do that off stream. What we can do is we can start putting the front fascia on. The front and rear fascia. I haven't printed them all, but better to get a start than not to do anything at all. All right, let's do the rear fan first. So people in Europe can put on giant spindles. Yes, you can put on a giant spindle if you want. You have up to 20 amps of power. So whilst a lot of the internals change depending on what setup you have, in terms of ratings for things, every single version still uses the C20 connector. So if you're using, you'll have a different rated contactor, you'll have a different rated inline filter, this, that, and the next thing, depending on what power system and what power output you need. And we've put all of that in the BOM. So if you do need to source everything, you can get the ones that are correct for yourself. But everything has that C20 connector just to make it a bit easier for everyone. Right, I'm gonna need M3x10s. I had a big bag of M3x10s just earlier. I need some more music suggestions for stream. So I just use Stream Beats, and I've listened to these so many times now. I've listened to these songs so many times now, and they're just driving me mad now. So if anyone has any suggestions for music that isn't going to get me a copyright strike and that they want to listen to on stream, let me know. Let me know. Look at the YouTube audio library in the creators section. Yeah, their music's shit. It's not good. Of course you can, Jorgen. You're from Denmark. Or is it, no, that's Finland, that's the metalheads. Wait, I'm pretty sure. Isn't Sabaton from Denmark? Or is Sabaton from Finland? I'm pretty sure Sabaton's a Danish band. Sabaton's from Sweden. Ah, okay. That doesn't make any sense. They're not flat. They're not flat pack. They can't be Swedish. trying to convince me that people from Sweden actually have 3 dimensions. Oh, you know work. They own 2 tanks. Who owns a tank? Eddie Hall. Eddie Hall, big strong man. He owns a tank here in the UK. Didn't someone from Iron Maiden own a tank too? Possibly. I know the lead singer of Iron Maiden is also a commercial airline pilot and still is. And still has the plane that he flies has. Is it Eddie? Is that the mascot? The kind of ghoulish dude on the Iron Maiden albums? Do you know Volbeat? No. I don't, I'm sorry. It is Eddie, yeah. Well, he's gonna be long enough. They play cowboy metal. Now that's something I need to listen to. Or we could play some, is it Windlass? Windlass? The guys who do dwarf metal. Good. Stream would be so much better if we had dwarf and cowboy metal. That would be so much better. Still just short. I haven't done any of the fasteners yet in the design, so I'm kind of guessing on the lengths of fasteners at the moment. Pretty sure. Wait, Volbeat's a Pokemon. I'm pretty sure Volbeat is a Pokemon. There's also artillery if you're into old school thrash metal. Yeah. I may be. You can't admit to be into thrash metal though. Everyone just looks at you weird. Where's my screwdriver? There it is. You don't like Queen? Yes, I do like Queen. Who doesn't? My mum was obsessed with them because, well, not because. So when I was 10, I went to go watch them. No, I was even earlier. I was like 8 or 9 when I watched the We Will Rock You West End show, which is fucking great, by the way. If you ever get a chance to watch We Will Rock You, it's great. But you got to see it live. You don't want to watch like they've made some attempts at doing like video versions of them, the shows, but they all suck. Queen didn't do thrash metal, did they? That is news to me if they did. Right, I'm gonna end stream in about 6 minutes time. I try to keep all the streams under 2 hours, and I know a lot of the ones we've done recently have been very long, so I'm just gonna, we'll call it so that people can actually watch it. So one thing I don't like about Nero's streams is there's no way you're gonna watch through the entire thing after it's finished. You either come to it and watch it, or you forget about it and watch the next stream. Because this stream's like 3 or 4 hours long. They're ridiculous. Pretty sure those are the only heatset inserts in the entire electronics build. No, there's 4 more that get done for the Siler mount. But I don't have my Siler here yet. It should be arriving soon. Some consider it to be the first thrash metal. I would say the closest you can get to like the first thrash metal has got to be something Mongolian. In the hands of the delivery gods. Yeah, I've already got this. There we go. All right. Oh, right. We're 2 minutes away. 2 minutes away. I need to line this up. There we go. God damn it. There we go. Right, there we go. So, I'm going to end it off here because there's loads of people who are leaving stream. I'm assuming most people are going to bed by now, which is fine. And we just hit the 2-hour mark as well. I don't like going over 2 hours by very much. So, thank you all for coming. It was a pleasure, this stream. Honestly, I think that's the record amount of people we've ever had on stream. It was pretty good. We managed to finish V1.6, which was something that we've been working on for what, 3 months now. So V1.6 is now done. Yeah, it's pretty good. We managed to get to start on the electronics box at least. Yeah. If you do enjoy the stuff that we do here and you want to help out, there are some links down below to a Patreon and to my PayPal account if you want to send a little bit of cash my way. If not, don't worry at all. Thank you all for coming as usual. It has been fantastic, and let's hope the streams continue. And hopefully the electronics box doesn't take as long as the mill did to build. Remember, at the end of this, we are going to be giving away the mill and the electronics box. And as Thomas said, leave a like. Cheers, guys. Have a good evening. Bye now.